All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my boy, Colts Loyalist. Want to appreciate Brandon, Joe B, and Truitt already in here in the live chat. Guys, before we get started, again, please smash that like button and hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, because we have a ton of stuff coming out soon. Special announcement right now, real quick, just because, I haven't really had time to announce it yet. DeQuell Jackson has moved on from the Believe in Colts podcast. He was my co-host over on Believe in Colts. He's moved on. We're still connected. We're friends. I think we have a very good relationship, but he wants to focus more on his own podcast, which I can respect that 100%. But we have a new co-host. I just met up with him earlier today. We will be recording tomorrow, and that is, maybe you've heard of him, Gerard Powers. The ex-cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts. So, we should have a video posted and on the audio podcast tomorrow, sometime in the evening. We will be joined with some guys from the Washington Believe in Commanders, I think it's called. I'm not 100% sure, but the host of that, and we're going to be discussing the trade, for both sides, which will be nice to actually talk about. Thanks so much for joining, and I just wanted to announce that. Loyalist, how have you been, man?
Awesome, brother. That's answering a lot of questions with I don't know. But outside of that, everything's been good, man.
Oh, I hear you. I absolutely hear you, man. I'll tell you what. We're sitting here looking. We just got news, like, what? Not even a couple hours ago about Deshaun Watson. This coming right off the big trade between Denver and Seattle for Russell Wilson. Now Deshaun Watson is free to be traded. Teams will be all over the trade. Of course, a lot of Indianapolis Colts fans would love to see Deshaun Watson in an Indy uniform, but come on, guys, we've got to be realistic. They're not going to trade Deshaun Watson to their divisional rival, are they, Loyalist?
If they do, I've been on record as saying, if I have to give up one of my family members or something to make this happen, Mr. Ballard, I will help you.
Right. I would love to. I'd love to see it, just like anybody else. I mean, I would give up a king's ransom for that man, but you just don't trade literally a top 3 franchise quarterback, a generational quarterback talent, to a divisional rival, right? You just don't do that.
I will tell you 2 things. If Ballard could pull this off in some magical way, number 1, instant. I don't care what the team does. He's the GM of the year. And number 2, I don't want to hear another word about Ballard doesn't spend in free agency if he's able to pull this one off.
Well, I'm sure he's going to call. But this is how I see this call going down. I'll be the GM. You pretend to be. I'll be the Texans GM. I'll be Nick Caserio. You be Chris Ballard. So give me a call.
Ring.
Hello, this is Nick Caserio of the Houston Texans. How may I help you?
Rick, how's it going, man? This is Chris over here with the Colts. How you doing? Had to try.
That's exactly how I see that call going down, okay?
And, I probably lost about half the fan base when I did this because they're all like, what's that symbol?
What's that? The heck is that?
For you guys that aren't old people, this is a phone.
Right. But legitimately, the Indianapolis Colts, with or without Deshaun Watson, we have a lot of prime positions that need to be filled right now. We have $70 million, a limited amount of draft capital in order to fill some of these very, very important positions. And I want to get into where's the best place to dive for these positions, whether it be trade, whether it be the free agency, or whether it would be just, the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Now, obviously, first and foremost, the most important one is the quarterback position. That is the keynote speaker of the team. Okay, that is the guy who directs the entire offense. And I mean, come on, right now, I don't know about you, but I'm not comfortable with Sam Ellinger being our starter throughout 2022.
Yeah, no, I like the kid and everything, but yeah, can we have somebody with a little experience in running an offense?
All right. Brandon Wood says, if I'm Nick Casario, I'd be like, I want all your picks for the next 3 years. Big Q, Defoe, Leonard, Taylor, MPJ, and then maybe. That's probably about right.
I'm glad he kept it at just 3 years.
Right? And, all your picks. All of them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Right now, it's pretty obvious. It's been said all over with the quarterback position in this year's draft. It's not a very, very good draft class for a quarterback. People want to bring up Riddler or Carson Strong or a few other names, but let's be fair. None of the names that you're listing are guys that you're going to be comfortable with being your quarterback, right? None of them. You're going to want to try to upgrade at some point from those quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So tell me, why should we spend a mid to high round draft pick on a quarterback that we're just going to try to upgrade from later on?
Yeah, unless you sit there and you look at one of these guys, to your point, Ritter, I mean, he has 3 years of being a team captain. He was in the Senior Bowl and performed fairly decent there. So those things I can see piquing Ballard's interest. So if that's enough for him to sit there and go, hey, this could be our guy, and then bring in a short fix. I mean, in other words, if you think that that's what's going. Me personally, I don't think that there is that level of talent, even in the NFL, that in a 1 or 2 year down the line that they're going to be starting. So that's where it's like you look at the free agency. And it's not sexy. I know, it's not. But you look at that or a trade. And I'm sorry, any trade that's going to be an upgrade from Carson Wentz, I feel like one of two things had to happen. Either they went and got Deshaun Watson and made the guy they have available, a la the Raiders or something like that. You know what I mean? Or you're going to have to give up massive amounts of resources from the present and the future. And it's going to make it a lot harder to fill those holes that we're talking about.
Yeah, right now, there's the Indianapolis Colts, they have cap space, but they don't have a lot of trade value, right, when it comes to draft capital. Sure, we have some players. Absolutely. Would I be willing to give up one of our all-pros with a draft pick to go get a quarterback? For the right quarterback, sure. For the right quarterback, absolutely, because quarterback is the most important position. But it has to be the right quarterback. And really, honestly, there's not a lot of quarterbacks out there that are available on the trade market that I would be willing to give up anything, fantastical, right? Yeah. Really, the only true hope, in my opinion, is if, let's say, somehow the Raiders end up with just Deshaun Watson, which is slim to none chance, because I think they're, as a lot of you think, they probably go, to the other conference. They want to trade him out of the AFC. But if the Raiders somehow got him, that would free up Derek Carr for a trade, and then at that point, that's somewhat realistic. But there's not any other real quarterback on a trade block right now that I think the Indianapolis Colts could legitimately go out and get. Maybe next year, because how the quarterback market and how some teams sour on their quarterback and sometimes quarterbacks sour on their teams. The whole reason why, Danger Russ ended up leaving. And then of course the whole thing that happened earlier this offseason down there in Arizona, right?
Kyler.
Yeah, with Kyler Murray. Now, Would I want Kyler Murray? Maybe, but I think he would cost more than what I would be willing to give for him specifically. Because I think Kyler is a very similar quarterback to Carson Wentz, but shorter.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
midget Wentz. I mean, that's.
Now, and here's sort of where I'm at with this quarterback situation. Okay, you guys all know I would have loved to have kept Carson. That ship sailed. But here's my thing. I honestly feel like everything that I look at, the Colts are going to take. It's going to get worse before it gets better at the quarterback position. Okay, whether you go get a rookie, whether you go get a Derek Carr, where you have to give up assets, I just feel like that we're going to get weaker. To get that position solved. And I know everybody's like, if he doesn't get this position filled this year, if he don't get Deshaun Watson, Ballard's garbage. He's gone. Okay, Ballard. I mean, let's just be realistic, guys. Ballard isn't going to reach. He's not going to force the thing. He understands the importance of it. He understands what everybody's clamoring. I mean, he may not be on Twitter, but his kids are constantly, Dad, you got to get this quarterback. I can only imagine what the Ballard household's like right now. You got to get this quarterback situation, Dad. They're eating you alive on it. But here's the thing. I love the philosophy of let's not force it. Let's make sure that the fit's right. Because how many times do you sit there and watch, you give up all this capital to move up in the draft or do whatever, and then in 2 years, 3 years later, you're regretting that move, and you're stuck with it for a while.
Yeah, that is true. Right now, a realistic option is probably just to go grab a guy off of the free agency market and someone that you have enough faith in to run your offense on a limited scale. Not someone that you're going to open up the entire playbook with, obviously, but someone that can run a kind of a dumbed down version of your playbook for just this year, and then save up some of your draft capital for next year, either for a trade, because let's face it, the market right now is bare. At least for Indy, it's bare. If you're outside the division, you have a shot at Watson. But in the division, no, it's bare bones. So yeah, you could end up going and getting a free agent just for a year, and then you'll end up having a week 1 starter 7 years straight. A different one for the 7th year straight, because you'll have to go out and pick someone up next year. Like I said, the free agency market might look better then. Obviously, from what I'm understanding, next year's draft should be much, much better in the quarterback department than it is this season. So that's where I think we should do with the quarterback position this year. And it's sad, because does that mean that I'm giving up on the Indianapolis Colts and that we should tank? No. I still want to compete. You need a quarterback to compete, but you don't oversell yourself.
Yeah.
Don't oversell yourself for someone you're just replacing later.
Yeah, and all I ask Ballard is just give me a little bit of hope, okay? Well, if it, like for me, Mitch Trubisky, okay, I feel like there's still that possibility that maybe he just hasn't been in the right situation. I understand. I mean, I'm not sitting there and waving a flag for Mitch Trubisky or anything, but what I'm saying is at least if you go with somebody, he's young, he's mobile. So even if he isn't that great of a passer or whatever, it's going to fit in really well with the team that we have with the run game and stuff. And like I said, my expectations have lowered since the trade. Okay. And right now I'm just like, I just want to have some hope. I want to sit there every Sunday or Thursday or Monday or whatever, when I'm watching a game, and sit there and not feel like, oh, my team don't have a chance, and that's all I think we can get this year.
I could see a Jameis Winston maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I could see someone of that nature. I mean, it is what it is. I thought he played all right, for the limited time that he had over there in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Outside of that Bruce Arians, throw it downfield and make or break a game philosophy that he has.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. Who wouldn't love to taste what a W tastes like?
Right. So we have another position that is a position of need. We already know that Eric Fisher probably, most likely, will not be back with the Indianapolis Colts. So we have a left tackle, and that is a need because I don't want to start anyone that we had playing left tackle outside of Eric Fisher from last year. Just they were all bad, all of them. So where do you go from there? Do you look at the draft? Do you look to trade? There is a lot of options right now for the left tackle as opposed to the quarterback. There are lots of options for left tackle with the Indianapolis Colts. Where would you tend to put your efforts into?
Okay. Here again, this is not, I mean, we've got a ton of money wrapped up into this offensive line. I would really like to give me that band-aid, that stopgap 1-2 year max tackle, somebody that's a veteran that's proven to be good in the pass game. I mean, and then hit, second shot is hit this thing in the draft because there are some really interesting pieces when you start looking through. And the nice thing is some of these pieces that you can see that maybe you can just squeak into the bottom of the first round or move up into the second round and have a chance to get a good solid left tackle.
Well, you talk about, how much of the cap space we have already on our offensive line. And if we go out and get somebody that's like, a Terran Armstead or a La'el Collins or something of that nature, you're looking $15-20 million for, one of them studs, right? And that's going to put you at over $200 million. That's going to, or over $100 million. That's going to put you over half of your team cap space. That is a failure no matter how you look at it. That is a failure. How far does the Cowboys go when they put all their money and resources in their offensive line? They went nowhere fast, okay? And I don't want to repeat what the Cowboys did. I agree. Now, when it comes to the draft, I wouldn't mind going draft if there's someone there that, Ballard feels can be a legitimate left tackle. Again, last year, left tackle in the draft, or tackle in the draft was deep, but left tackle not necessarily was. And a lot of people were like, oh, he sold out, didn't go get a left tackle, and blah. And turns out he was dead right because there were very few legitimate left tackles in that draft, right? A lot of the guys that everybody was clamoring for him to get either failed or were right tackles, right? I mean, it is what it is. So I'm going to leave that up to him. If he feels like there's someone that he could grab where he can move up, like you said, at the end of the first or use the 42nd pick to grab somebody that he feels can be a starting left tackle, that'd be great. It'd be a lot easier on the cap space and free up a little bit more for him to work with when it comes to other positions. Now, obviously, there are a lot of free agents out there at the tackle position. But he hasn't been, he was frugal last year when it came to that. He's like, we're going to go grab a couple guys and let them compete. Well, I'll tell you what, if you take crap and butter and you put it together and mix it up and try to make them compete, it ain't going to come out and be, some kind of glorious dish, all right? It's still going to be crap and butter, all right? I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Let's look on the next higher shelf for tackles this next year.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. We don't have to have a lockdown left tackle, a guy.
No.
I just don't want a turnstile. That's all I want. Someone that, of course he's going to give up a little bit of pressure occasionally, but I don't want to see whoever we have at quarterback looking over their shoulder constantly going crap, because I want him to be able to see the field and be able to decide whether, go through his progressions instead of worrying about whether or not he's going to have a broken neck when he drops back to pass,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's honestly, I mean, I feel like every lineman can run block to some extent, but right now that's all I care about. I've got Quentin Nelson sitting next to him. I just need that guy to be able to pass pro. Okay, if he is a great run blocker, awesome. If not, like I said, you got Quentin Nelson over there. That run blocking is a lot easier to help out with than it is the pass blocking. Just give me some, and like a Jason Peters. Okay, I don't think that it's going to be a real big asking price. I mean, he's very long in the tooth, but the dude still produces at a high level in the pass game. If you can get a guy like that for 1 year, even if it's just 1 year, get somebody through the draft and start plugging them in to the Strausser, fold. Get Kevin Mawai to get a hold of them for a little bit, and let's just build ourselves the future left tackle that this team needs.
Absolutely. Now, another position that we need to talk about is tight end. That is a position of need, especially after Jack Doyle has retired. And I honestly, to be fair, I don't know what the draft looks like when it comes to the tight end position. Loyalist watches football, and from the look on his face, I'm guessing that it's loaded. Right? Loaded with great tight ends. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have any of those elite tight ends. You don't have any of them guaranteed first round guys. Now, that's not to say that there's not good talent. You got some guys that have some attributes and stuff. But to sit there and say that this is a ideal year in tight ends in the draft, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. So when it comes to tight ends, let's actually go look. I am going to go look at the free agency right now. Bunch of scrolling. Scroll. While I'm scrolling, please hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. And tag that notification bell so that you can be notified next time we go live or upload a video. All right. So, guys that are available right now. Now, Cam Robinson, Taron Armstead, or no, those are left tackles. I'm sorry. We're going to tight ends now. Not
I was gonna say I don't know if I want any of them guys going out trying to catch a pass.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Taron's a big dude, man.
Yes, he is. Get out of here.
Jimmy Graham is still playing in the NFL. What? He's 35 years. No, thank you. Rob Gronkowski probably will not come to Indy. I think he's already talked about wanting to go to specific teams already.
Yeah, Buffalo's gone.
C.J. Uzomah for Cincinnati. He has that injury. He may not be that expensive. What are your thoughts on C.J.?
We looked into this 3 weeks ago. Going into the Super Bowl and stuff, and just looking at, and I like this kid, and I mean, he balled out for the Bengals. I know he's got the injury, but I would still say that his production doesn't mean that you're going to get him at a bargain basement price or anything. But and there you go. You've got a guy who got injured late in the playoffs and stuff. When is he going to be ready to play? And a lot of those things, I guess I'm interested to know more information on as things progress. And the nice thing is I have a feeling that he's going to be there for a little while just because of the injury. So my point is you can go and try other things, and if it doesn't work out, do like we did with Fisher and come back to it and say, all right, what is it you're looking for, and try to work something out that way.
A lot of names, Colts fans, I've seen drop the name of Kyle Rudolph. I'll be honest with you, I did not like what I saw from Rudolph last year with the Giants. I think he's really kind of starting to decline quite a bit. At 32 years old, I would not want to put too much money into Rudolph, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is I'm wondering, you got a couple of these, got 3 or 4 of them got franchise tagged. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that not all these guys are going to, but they can still be traded, right? If you've got the tag on them.
Yes,
if you don't
you can tag and trade.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't take these guys off the table. And the thing is like I said, there was 3 or 4 really good tight ends.
Miami's.
Gesicki.
Oh,
yeah.
I would. Here's my left arm.
You got Gesicki and you got Njoku. And the nice thing is about a franchise tag, tight end is you're not giving up everything. I mean, I know it's what 11.5 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But still, you can sit there and get that guy of the future. Yeah, pay that price. Like I said, use a little bit of that 70 million and fill some of these holes with legitimate, guys that you can see continuing on in the club.
Another name that's brought up a lot is Zach Ertz, and let's be fair. Okay, I was kind of on the Zach Ertz train, not a whole lot, but that was back when we had Wentz, and there was that Wentz connection with Zach Ertz. Okay, I want someone younger than 31. Okay, just flat out, I do. Okay, we have Kylan Granson, who is a young guy, so that's the guy that I think we're hoping. Obviously, Mo Alley Cox needs to be re-signed. Now, a lot of people are like, no, he drops too many balls. That was last year, and that was passes by Carson Wentz. It was just way overthrown. He dropped one pass that was like by the end zone, and I don't think he was really ready for it. But flat out, we need a great blocker that knows the guys around him and, knows the playbook. And Mo Alley Cox is that guy. It flat out, it makes too much sense not to re-sign Mo Alley Cox.
Yes, I mean, he knows the playbook. And guys, JT, I mean, he loves his line, but if you lose Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox, that run game's going to take a big hit because these guys, especially Doyle, I mean, they were clearing lanes for JT on that first level and then allowing him to get to the second level and work his magic. So to your point, I mean, I feel like we need one, Mo Alley Cox that could just block the daylights out. And then I still want to have a good receiving / blocking tight end, sort of your hybrid type tight end also. So I honestly feel like there's a couple ways that this spot could get filled.
I think James O'Shaughnessy could be a nice, cheap flyer as well. I kind of like, he's kind of one of those underrated all-around type tight ends. He's getting older, but he's still, playing, and he's never been a superstar in the NFL, but he does all the little things, and that's really, I like that a lot.
Yeah, and just because we're in this position, I mean, I know you're not a fan of him, but Ingram, out of the Giants,
Evan, yep,
yeah. I mean, I think, he's younger. He's basically from what I see, he's just a receiving tight end. He's not worth a hoot as far as in the run game, helping with the blocking. So, there again, that would emphasize even more need for a Mo Alley Cox signing or somebody of that nature. And I don't want to forget that, I mean, in our practice squad and stuff, we went to training camp. We saw Farrah Green. I mean, we had some young, interesting pieces. They've had flashes and stuff. And so, maybe there's something there in the quiver that Ballard's got back there that, he thinks can develop into being a starting tight end.
We're going to move on to a lot of Colts fans see as another position in need, and that's wide receiver. Yes, we have Michael Pittman Jr. We need someone who's reliable and steady on the opposite side. Even if T.Y. Hilton comes back, he's, not reliable anymore. Paris Campbell is not reliable. We need someone over there. Now, Devontae Adams just got signed to a 1-year, $20 million by the Green Bay Packers. That's something that now is off the table in case you thought maybe we had a shot at him. That's a big fat no-go. But there's still guys out there. Juju's still available, right? Sammy Watkins is available. Jamison Crowder. I actually like Jamison Crowder. Obviously, Allen Robinson. Absolutely love the guy. There's a lot of different guys that's still available. Byron Pringle has some upside to him. Where would you go? And don't forget, this draft, just like the tackle position, this draft supposedly has a lot of talent in this draft, especially speed. If you watch the combine, right? Would you go for a trade? Would you go for? I don't think anyone's expecting a trade at wide receiver. We'll just leave that off the market because there's so much available on either side. Where would you dip? Would you dip free agency or would you dip in the draft?
Yes. And
yes.
You'll see. Well, and the thing is I feel like that we need, a couple pieces at that position. Honestly, this is one of the two positions, this and edge. You give me elite level, give me somebody that can get that separation, a la Robinson, Amari Cooper. They fit age-wise in with the team and where we're at as far as the average age and stuff. In other words, they can be part of the team and part of the puzzle for the next 3 to 4 years. But then, like you said, this draft is loaded, and we've got a lot of second day picks with the compensatory and the Carson Wentz trade and just everything else. I can honestly see us getting a very good, I don't want to say top tier draft quality receiver, but you can still get, a really top end receiver through the draft. But like I said, I really just want the Colts. And I just, I've never been this guy throughout the other years, what I mean? But this year, like you said, T.Y. Hilton has come off of that shelf of being somebody that you can rely on and stuff. I want that void to be filled. Me personally, I look at Amari Cooper and I see the separation this guy gets on routes. And I know it's a lot of money, but man, his age, he fits in here. If he could fit into the culture of things, I'd really be happy with that. And he's not even bad at run blocking, as far as, how we love having our receivers block. He's not great, but he knows how to get himself. He's got enough veteran experience to know how to do enough, I guess.
The only thing about Cooper is he has yet to be released. He's expected to, but the Cowboys have been restructuring and releasing guys and trying to make up cap room. It could be with the intent of keeping him, right? Mm-hmm. So we keep an eye on that. I would love Cooper. I would love Allen Robinson. And I agree with you in this situation. I am one of those very rare guys. I'm one of those guys that generally say, don't spend your money on wide receivers. Go get them in the draft, right? Don't go out and get a big name. Don't overpay for a wide receiver. But in this case, there are a few guys out there that's worth the dimes that you're going to drop on them. And in this case, it wouldn't be a bad idea, especially since you're not paying a bunch of money at the wide receiver position right now anyhow, right? You have very, very little money invested at wide receiver. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't, like you said, dip into the draft later on, 3rd, 4th round. They're very, very deep right now. You could get a diamond in the rough just by dropping in there. But it is what it is. I think my volume dropped again. Give me 1 second. Thank you, John.
Well, listen, guys, while he's getting that all sorted out, I wanted to mention that, we've got the Patreon, $5 a month, that we've been really getting a good group of guys, joining us and stuff. We do that every Thursday night, schedules permitting and stuff. But also check out the Discord.
Absolutely, check out the Discord. Also, thank you, because we're over 30 minutes in. I haven't even dropped one stinking ad yet, guys. I'm not even going to show Defo. Everybody knows who Defo. Everybody's seen my Defo. Go check out the Backroom Collection. They got a lot of great stuff. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. Also, guys, we are sponsored by Ultra Game. Ultra Game is the #1 selling NFL licensed provider on Amazon outside of the NFL itself. So go check that out as well. What's going on, everybody? This episode is brought to you by Ultra Game. Ultra Game is officially licensed by the NFL. Ultra Game NFL is a reintroduction to the classic NFL fan gear, boasting innovative design and fabric updates for the fresh fits for today's stadium goers that appeal to everyone. And if you use the link in the description right now, you get this great Ultra Game NFL Men's Sherpa lined full fleece hoodie sweatshirt. That's right. And this full soft fleece hoodie with Sherpa polyester lining ensures comfort and warmth in the cold weather. Length and fits as perfect as a layering piece for any physical activity. Just make sure you use the link in the description. That way you can get your Ultra Game Men's Sherpa full lined zip fleece hoodie sweatshirt at a discounted price. Let's get back to the video. Moving on to the next order of business is there's some guys out there, including myself, that think that we need a proven outside pass rusher, right? Absolutely. Now, do I think we have a lot of young talent that can reach that? Yes. But I think we need somebody that is there now. And at this point, I'm not talking about going and getting somebody who might bring a little bit, right? Yeah. I don't want a 5 to 10 sack guy, because we have those on our team. I want a 10 plus sack guy. Okay. Yeah. I want a Max Crosby. You know, the dude just signed a massive deal today. Congrats to him, by the way. He well deserved, after hitting every quarterback he's ever seen in his life 3 times and twice on Sunday this past year. That was impressive as heck, and he deserved every penny of it. But going and looking, obviously, I don't know what the pass rush looks like in the draft. Again, I haven't really gotten too deep into it, whether it comes to outside linebackers, defensive ends. A lot of your outside linebackers can play your hands in the dirt, 3-point stance defensive ends. So don't ever forget that. I mean, go look at Justin Houston, right? Justin Houston was a guy who was a stand-up guy over in Kansas City, came to Indy, was down in a 3-point stance, said, man, this is so much easier. This is so much easier, and played very, very well. Chandler Jones started off in a 3-point stance in New England, then, was standing upright in Arizona. He's a free agent. Von Miller, as we know, is a free agent. We got Anthony Barr, A.J. Klein, Hassan Reddick, which is a name that a lot of people bring up. I don't know why, but they do. There's some guys there, and then you roll up and you look at the defensive ends, and let me see what we're looking at here, because there's a lot of defensive tackles. Holy cow. There's a lot of defensive ends, too. Takaris McKinley, Emmanuel Ogbah, right? There's still Jadeveon Clowney still out there. Jerry Hughes. I don't want Jerry Hughes. Don't bring Jerry Hughes back, okay?
Or Clowney.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. There's just no, okay? Just guys I don't think would legitimately fit, okay? Maybe Solomon Thomas, right? Derek Barnett. There's a name, right? There are names. There are a lot of names out there right now in free agency that could be a good pickup, in my opinion, for the Indianapolis Colts for a pass rusher.
Yeah, and once again, this is one of those positions. Okay, we've tried to find the guy. Okay, so make that big swing. Go and get, like you said, get a guy. You know what I mean? And this draft, I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, the national champ. It looks like half their defensive line is in the draft, and these guys are all looking amazing. Okay, so I mean, they got inside, they got outside. I mean, this draft has got a lot of depth at that edge rusher. You don't have a lot of top end. You don't have a lot of Chase Youngs in the draft, but you have so many higher level, ends and stuff that I can see some of those guys dropping down into the second. So, Yeah, I would love to sit there and I also don't want to sit there. You talked about Crosby, and you talked about the young talent. Coach Bradley, get to work. Turn one of these guys into Max Crosby, whether it's in the next year or two. So this is one of those things where I picture Chris Ballard sitting there watching all the film going, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he loves his defensive line. So I can just imagine him having a blast watching all the film on some of these kids. But like I said, this is exciting for me, what our D-line could be in the next couple of years, hopefully.
Well, yeah, it's a hope. It's a hope because, I mean, let's face it, we did not change the style of defense, right? I mean, we're still running a zone scheme, and that four down lineman zone scheme requires those 4 down linemen to get pressure and get quarterback hits and get sacks. So we need to upgrade because we saw last year we do not have the horses in order to get, on the quarterbacks across the line right now. At least right now, maybe they develop, but go get somebody. I don't care who, just somebody.
And I would argue that you really just need one because you still need to keep moving the younger guys in and stuff. And we still don't know, do we re-sign Al-Qadim Muhammad, for that Leo spot or something. So there's still a lot of that stuff too that we have questions on. Toure, Lewis, so there's a lot of options there. Interesting to watch that particular position for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, will Pay take that next step? Will Dio take that next step? Love to see it. Love to see it. Don't put all your eggs in that basket, though. Okay? Right. That's all I'm saying. Get someone that's going to guarantee you some daggone quarterback hits and pressures. And then if they develop this upcoming year, that's even more of a plus. And people will be talking about our defensive line the way they talk about Washington's or the Chargers now, after the trade that just happened there. Khalil Mack on one side and Bosa on the other. Are you kidding me? Right? Put somebody beside DeForest Buckner. Look, this man is 6 foot, 800 feet tall. But he can't do it all by himself. He needs someone there to help take the triple teams off of him, okay? I'm just saying. Come on, give the guy a little bit of help, please. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. 45 minutes into it. I think we've done pretty good. You want to get into the chat coming up?
Awesome. Sounds good, bub.
All right. We're going to scroll back here and get into the chat a little bit. Not a lot of chat today, actually. We was very, very busy yesterday, but obviously yesterday the trade, or not yesterday, but day before yesterday, the trade happened, and yeah. Colts Nation for Life is in here. What's going on? Joe Thornburg, what up? Marquis Beverly says, what's up, fellas? I believe a big move is coming at quarterback, and I bet Ballard is working his magic behind closed doors. I'm hoping. Yes. Now, I've said this a lot. I'm hoping that he had something in the bag before the trade, but he's had something sealed, like, that not letting the cat out of the bag, basically. And he needed the trade to happen with Wentz first in order to make this trade. I'm hoping that was the case and that we'll hear something about something over the next couple days. Truett Tressler says, sign Colt McCoy. He's always been a Colt, and he always will be. That's funny, man.
Yeah, I don't want to sign him for a starter. I mean, if you want to bring in a Colt McCoy and a Mitchell Trubisky and say, best man wins, I'm fine with that. But I just don't want Colt McCoy to be my sole hope for being a starting QB.
0194D, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Did you see that PFF said they heard Ballard and company like Kenny Pickett? No, I don't pay attention a whole lot to what PFF has to say. I look at them occasionally. But it's not something that I look into hardcore.
Yeah, and that's one of those statements that I mean, especially during this time of year, I mean, you can just Kenny Pickett name out, Ritter's name in, I mean, or I mean, there's just Ballard's name out. It's just there's so much interchangeable gossip, for lack of a better phrase.
Yep. What's up, Shreyla says Matt Ryan for third and a sixth. I think they just restructured Matt Ryan's contract to keep him. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I think that's out the door. Inside the Horseshoe Podcast, what's up? Says I'm on the Winston train. I want him and a rookie, assuming that we don't get Carr. That'll work. That's best case scenario, basically. That's the way I. I mean, then you have unrealistic scenarios, but I'm just saying, best case realistic scenario.
See, my only problem with Jameis Winston is, I mean, you look at his history, and you've seen what he had to play with. Okay, he left Tampa, then Tom Brady comes in and leads them to the Super Bowl. He led the same team minus AB and Gronk, but he threw 30 interceptions, 2 years ago. So that really worries me more. That's why I'm more in the Trubisky camp, because at least with Trubisky, you could see that the team wasn't giving him all the resources that he needed, or what didn't fit that scheme, And Buffalo, we just didn't see anything not enough to base a judgment on. So I guess those guys are like 1A, 1B sort of situation. I just lean towards Trubisky a little more.
Ant Rodgers has an interesting idea. He says, I think we need to turn into the 2000 Ravens. Make our defense crazy and have a get the job done offense. And he says, we got the pieces, just need a few more. And I think you're right, in all honesty, especially on defense. You get yourself another really, really damn good pass rusher, and there could be some very good defense sitting there. But you still need a quarterback. I mean, they had Joe Flacco, who was a statue, but at the same time, he was younger Joe Flacco, so he could throw it downfield and have a little bit of grease to his arm. So he's not the same Joe Flacco he is now. Looking in here, Jason Davis says, "What about Nick Foles?" No.
Yeah, and I would have to agree completely. No, thank you.
And I'm not saying that because I dislike Foles. If you want Foles as a backup, that's perfectly fine. He is a great backup. He has never succeeded as a starter in the NFL. Ever. Right. Ever. So, there's a reason why he jumps teams so much.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just sitting there, if you had your option between a Foles or a Fitzmagic, because they're fairly, in the same phase of their career and stuff. I know Fitzmagic is a little older. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As far as I would just spend a little bit extra and go with Fitzmagic and at least sit there and watch that exciting brand of football. And he's won games.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Foles led him to the Super Bowl for a few starts. But to your point, every chance he's had where he was the guy, he's faltered. Where Fitzmagic, he shines and then he falters and then he shines. So I at least give me some more shiny moments. I guess that's all.
Yeah, I'd rather have Fitzpatrick than I would, Nick Foles. I agree with you on that. Inside the Horseshoe Podcast says Evan Ingram would drop the pennies using to sign his next deal.
I just had to make his name because he's one of the top guys on the board.
He also says that he's fine spending big money on a receiver, and I am this year. Not every year. It just depends. It depends. And this year is that time, I think. It is. Past years, I've always said, don't go out and blow big money.
Yeah.
This year, it's time. Because you're not going to be, unless some magical thing happens and we use a ton of money and end up with some kind of magical big-time quarterback, then obviously we're kind of in a rut at that point.
Yeah.
But
And the thing is for me, the reason this year more so is because MPJ's not that create his own separation type of receiver. MPJ is that guy that he can be a solid top quality. Even if you want to I hate the whole number one, number two wide receiver stuff. But I'm saying is he's not the kind of player that goes out and generates his own separation and gets the wide open. You know, like your speedster, like Ty used to be back at Andrew Luck, earlier Andrew Luck era. Then when you had Ty who could do it, I wasn't pushing as much. I mean, I still wanted to have a good second receiver, but I felt like you could do it in the draft because Ty was always going to be able to find his way open. Well, this is why I think this year is more important to get a more elite receivers because MPJ is going to be awesome as long as he's got somebody drawing some attention and splitting up that focus from the defense a little bit.
What's going on, Hermit Crabbit? Appreciate you being in here. Fuzzy Whistler, appreciate you as well. Still going in here. Dragon 34. Hey, what's up? I think the Colts should make a call, try to get Watson only because he has a trade clause and he could force him to trade. I don't think he would. He's going to go. First off, he may be okay with going to the Colts, but he can't force them to go to the Colts because there's going to be other. He would have to say, no, you can't trade me to 31 other teams. That ain't going to happen. Is Ballard going to make a call and ask? Absolutely. We've already discussed this. He's going to call and ask. He's going to get laughed at or hung up on. Okay, that's all. That's what's going to happen. There are plenty of other teams out there that are respectable, that have good teams, that Deshaun Watson that want Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson will want to go there, and that's going to happen. There's no question about that. But he says, but I would like Jameis. Okay, I like I said, the 30 interception year doesn't scare me too much because of the situation that he was in. So I think that was an outlier year for him. Kind of like, some other years for other quarterbacks. It happens.
Yeah.
Larry Brown says, let's make the Colts defense and the old Ravens, like you said, bring in Chandler Jones and a good corner. I think we have good corners. I really do. As starters. I think that we have very good young starting cornerbacks. We need depth. We get pressure on guys. I think these guys will make plays. I think Rocky Sin will end up with all kind of interceptions if there's pressures and quarterbacks have to get rid of the ball quick. So I'm just saying. On the offensive side, he says bring in O.J. Howard, Amari Cooper, and Kirk.
Yeah, and the whole O.J. Howard thing. See, this is one of those guys who's he's never played that, that solid tight end position. I mean, he's flashed. He's had his little moments. I understand he was a first-round draft pick, and I loved watching him in Alabama. But since he's been in the NFL, he just hasn't produced. And the thing is I know he's young and he's strong, but why throw money at a guy that you've already seen what his ceiling is? And his ceiling's like real short. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I get you. I wouldn't mind trying Christian Kirk. He's one of those guys that I feel like that on a different team he would be studly, legitimately. But we'll see. I don't know. He brings up the 2013 Philadelphia Nick Foles again. That 2013. You want me to bring up what he's done in Chicago, Jacksonville, Philadelphia, after that, Kansas City, St. Louis, and then the year after that, the 2013, he's been terrible, okay, as a starter. So I'm just let's not go there. Let's not go there. Please. Give me a break. Okay. But I get you. Okay. So he had one okay year 10 years ago. All right. I'll give you that. Guys, appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Please hit that like button. We appreciate it very much. It helps with the analytics, help get this out to more people. Obviously, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, because I'm dropping film rooms left and right. I got a bunch of other stuff coming out as well, including my Believe in Colts stuff with my new co-host, right? Gerard Powers. Maybe you heard of him.
Yeah.
Now that Niquel Jackson has moved on to focus more on his own podcast, and I wish him luck with that. But Powers is going to come in, and we're recording tomorrow, so should be interesting. Sorry, I'm a little late. Marcus Robinson and 860 and Benjamin, guys, thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's my boy Loyalist, and as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.